Hi everybody, happy Monday, happy January 19th. Thank you for joining me. This is This and That with Grandma Kitty. I am Grandma Kitty, and you're in a new location today. We are downstairs in my basement. This area of my basement is slowly becoming my craft area. My craft area has traveled so many times, I don't know what zip code it's in anymore. Actually, this part of our basement, this is one half of our basement. That other half is a Star Wars gaming room, and then the other side is a Chicago sports lounge. This half is not completely done, and what I'm looking at is my laundry area. But I am at one of my three craft stations. Uh, Little history on this table. It's from my mom. She's had a long time. It's an enamel table. Love it. It's got the pull-out wings. I have another one slightly over there next to my dryer. I use it for folding. I also use that area for when I do my cricketing. The other table, which you cannot see, and I would take you over there. However, you're taped to my laundry tub. Yeah, because I'm still doing on my little tablet here until I get a little better at this and save up and get a regular vlogging camera. This is working so, good. But over here off to my left, I have a sewing table. And over further from that is a 3D printer. And then I've got some shelving, bookshelf things that are going on here. I'd love to have one of those dream craft cabinets if you've seen them, the dream box. They're really cool. They're really expensive. We're talking like, I think the last I checked it was over $2,000 for the setup. I don't have that kind of crafting moolah, so I'm making my own. In fact, I'm reutilizing cabinets that I've had that used to be a pantry that we had upstairs. This is like a jump right in vlog. Let me take a step back. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, I'm so glad you popped in. I hope you stick around. We do a lot of chit chatting. Today we're going to do a planner. I'm a lot behind. It's the 19th. And we're going to have a little bit of rant because if you watched my last video, you know I saved it. I didn't want to go out on a Friday with a little bit of a rant, but that's going to be a discussion today. So let's get back to this. So I'm reutilizing a pantry that was made up of 3 cabinets that are meant for a laundry room. They're a double door. And I used it upstairs and I stacked them on top of each other, flipped one upside down on itself, and it became a good tall pantry. Well, we have something else for a pantry. So I brought the cabinets down here, and for a while it served a purpose. We had one of those 9-cube, like bookshelf organizer kind of things. They hold the cloth boxes. I see that I'm moving, excuse me. Sorry about that. We're only as good here as our packing tape. So bear with me, don't slide down. So right now, I'm turning those into my version of a dream box. Is it going to look just like? No, but it's going to function the same because I've already put 2 on top of those little dollies. They're like look like a portion of a pallet with wheels on it, casters. So I've got that. So these will move. And then I've simply taken the other one and turned it up to it. So I need one more of that kind. Not a problem. I love going to some Home Depot fun. That's where they have them now. Menards no longer carries those. And then next to it, I have some space right here. Walmart's got bookshelves. In fact, we've got one to build. It's black. It's going to go in the rock and roll guest room. And that's going to have all of Ray's rock and roll memorabilia. She's got a lot of Beatles. So we need some shelving in there. Well, they've got it in white. And so I'm going to grab a couple of those, build them, do the same concept. I'm going to put them on the rolling little like dolly things. And then because pretty much everything other than my tables are on wheels down here. We don't leak. We do have a system where it hooks up to a sump pump and it spits the water out, but you never know. And they're heavy. So if I ever need to move them, rearrange the room for whatever, they're already on dollied wheels. So easy to go. The only issue I have is I do have some carpeting down here. I've got remnant that was left over from when I carpeted the stairs. I think it'll be okay. I'm possibly going to get some of that desk, under the desk plastic that you can put under. So then if I need to roll it. And then the 3D printer, that sits on an actual sewing cutting table where the wings fold up and it comes out to be, I believe, almost 6 feet total length, fully expanded. But we have the 3D printer sitting on that right now, and that's also on wheels. So anything you can do to make your life a little easier, do that. Even if it costs a little bit, save up and do that. It's good to get inspiration. Like I said, I'd love to have one of those crafting dream boxes. out of their mind. I get that they're nice. I see some of them even on, let me slide down again. I see some of them on Marketplace, and they're a little bit cheaper, but, you know, people still have to recoup some of that money. So if you can think of something your own without having to fully build it completely on your own, it's a good idea. Just a little tip. I like giving you guys tips. If there's anything that you want to hear more about that I ever discuss here, whether it's building or at some point, you know, I can take you on a little tour, but this is still a work in progress, like empty space. You can see maybe off screen here a little bit. That's all Cricut vinyl. That's the top two shelves of that first cabinet. And then behind me, that's a child's Hoosier. I kind of have a thing for Hoosiers and cabinets and tables that have wings. It's kind of a thing. But up here, this is where I store all of my scrapbooking materials. Some of the spaces are empty because I have them here on the table for when we do our planning. And this wall over here, that's all Star Wars canvases. So let's get to it. I have my planner. We bought this last year. It's a 25-26. I've never really seen them done that way before. So I normally, for years and years and years, I always use the Happy Planner. And I like the Happy Planner. I like the binding. This, I'm not crazy about it, but I thought I'd give it a whirl. After this year, I most definitely will go back to a Happy Planner. Just because you can't rearrange the pages. And sometimes when you do a layout, it's just easier to take them off of this. I started real good when we first got this. Lots of to-dos. And I even did, let me see if I can find, because I ended up stopping at some point where I wasn't completing. Actually, this started in July. It's a weird planner. I guess it started in July and goes the whole next of 2026. It's really odd that, to me, it's odd that it's like that. I'm not sure. I may not have ever done a layout. Well, good. Let's do our very first layout. I know I wrote all my plans in it and all my, you know, busy to-dos and who's going where. Oh, I did find one. I did. Stuck itself together. This was August. This is the first planner layout that I've done. If you're not familiar what a planner is, it's just fancy for a bound calendar that you cover with all kinds of papers and stickers and emblems, and sky's the limit. And I have a lot of that because, like I said in the video before, I do scrapping. And this is going to drive me crazy. I have a hair that's sticking straight out. Worst things in the world. All right, so this is what I did for last August. This is metal. You can affix metal to it. You just have to use extra glue or a tacky. These are puffy stickers. This is just paper I cut out. The little sayings on here. This was celebrating a different job. So it's at a glance. This is just the calendar portion. Then you also have this. And I did like this because in my Happy Planner, mostly you get this kind of thing. And then depending on what kind of Happy Planner you get, you either get this kind of format or you just get lines, dates with not quite as, it's not as big. It's not as spacious. So I don't know. I like this. This is a little bit smaller than what I like playing with because you would get this kind, and then I don't know if I have a Happy Planner. You know, I do somewhere. I do have a Happy Planner. When you would go week by week, you also get a full layout. Like, so you would open up this. This would have like a calendar view with bigger squares. Those are the ones I really like. But this is working. Like I said, I left off. I got real busy in the summer, and I just didn't get back to it. And it doesn't make sense to go back and replan things. So we're going to start with this. I do have a dashboard for it for January. I did make dashboards. This is what's considered a dashboard. It's just basically a holder, and I just cut it out and glued back to back the same paper. I now have a hole puncher, but it's for the Happy Planner, so I don't think it's going to work for this spiral bound. But a dashboard is basically you can put anything on it. It's just like a what day am I on kind of thing, you know, if you were to look at it like that. So if I move forward with this, a lot forward, because we're already on the 19th. Can you believe it? It seems like January just flew. Okay, so if I were to go like this, and I don't have this week's worth of anything right now because I'm just getting back to it, you just simply put it in there. And I always put mine like under the day that it is, that it corresponds with. And it just kind of holds your place. Some people laminate them. I have a laminator. I don't, you know. So on this side, I put a sticker that says right now. I don't know if you're going to see that. And then on the back, I have a don't forget. And it's also a good way to remind yourself that you have something going on. You know, it's just a little extra something. It basically, how extra do you want to be with your date book? It's a date book. A lot of people have their phones. Hey, that's great. Technology is awesome. I myself like to see things on paper. I like to write things out. I'm old school. I still send greeting cards. I like that kind of thing. Probably going to have to take my glasses off shortly because I'm not going to be able to see all of you wonderful people out here. So let's find our calendar. It gives you a page for doodles. This, like I said, this one does anyway. It gives you a full page of notes. I've also ordered, you can go on Etsy, you can go all kinds of things, you can Google planner pages, and they will make papers that will fit into the Happy Planners. Erin Condren, I don't know if she's still doing planners, but they have that. I believe it's a she. I'm not familiar with the Erin Condren planners, but I know that that's a thing. Or it was. You can use any kind of date book. You can even go to Dollar Tree and get a planner. It might not be as big as this, but you can make it what you want. That's the beauty of it. Let your creativeness flow. Pick a theme, work the theme, go crazy, just fill it. Sometimes in the past, what I would have done instead of using this, I got this for Christmas this year. I highly recommend a cutter. This one is kind of neat. I've never had anything like this where I can do perforations, wavy lines, straight lines, extra lines. So it's kind of cool. I recommend a cutter, a nice, smooth action cutter. Just because you're going to get a more straight cut than just scissors. At least for me, I would get a more straighter cut than scissors. And then I have stickers here. This is how I organize my stickers. This is my miscellaneous stickers. So Dollar Tree is a really good source for stickers. They have a lot of neat stickers. I go to the clinic or the dentist, I get a sticker because that's how that works. Yeah, you can see I've used some. I just keep them in here. And it depends, what fits my theme. Today is probably going to be a winter theme. That needs to go back into sleep. Today will be a winter theme. And I know I have a few winter. This is like a luau theme. That'll be in the summertime because we always have an annual luau here. Yeah, just different things. Things I've gotten in greeting cards from people. Stickers I've been sent. Stickers I've had since I was a kid. I'm surprised they still stick. We have beach theme. All kinds. Keep your eye out. You can get stickers pretty much any store, any retail store that, has a craft department, a greeting card department, school supply department, teachers things, that kind of thing. And you pick them up anywhere. These are cool. These came from Dollar Tree a few years back. And I just thought that they were really cool. They're Valentine-y supposedly themed, but it's all food. And we have rock and roll. You'll see a lot of Hello Kitty through here. And monkeys. Then I have, these are specifically for scrapbooks. This is for Texas. And I have more rock and roll. So these I got, you have to look because not all Forest of Many Dollars have them. But these are little binders that came from Dollar Tree. Highly recommend these for sorting things. They're good for coupons. I don't understand the couponing game that some people do, and the store owes you money, and I don't know how any of that works. But I highly recommend it for stickers or anything that you need to keep that you don't want to end up in like a giant folder and just hidden somewhere. Good one for that. And then this one's my holiday ones. And this is where we'll probably find some wintry looking themed. But they're just, it's such a nice concept. We'll probably use these. And this was back when the Forest of Many Dollars was still Dollar Tree and things were actually $1. No hate, not sponsored at all. I'll set those over here because what I normally do is I measure out like how big of a square I need, and then I'll pick like 1 to maybe up to 3 different kinds of paper, or I will just stick with 1 if I just plan to use that. And I have seasonal paper, I have themed paper of different things, I have, you name it, I have it. In fact, I was gifted, these need to go in the holiday, those are Easter. I was gifted these. Yep, they're from Wendy's, and it's for Girl Scouts. Now, I'm not in Girl Scouts. I didn't make it to Girl Scouts. I went to Brownies. But I have a friend in the group that I have my social media group, Grandma Kitty's Army. And if you want any more information, just comment down below, and I'll give you some more information on that. But I plan on doing something for her, so those are pretty cool. So I'm thinking maybe for her birthday month, making her a planner page and mailing it to her, just as a different kind of birthday greeting. And I won't go through all my papers because this isn't all I have. This drawer isn't all I have. What you don't see over here that I'm tapping, that's another set of drawers with scrapbook miscellaneous patterns, embellishments, and you name it, more stuff. And I have things packed away because I thought a year ago we might be moving. So that's a little nuts. So let's start using some things up. And I'm probably going to have to take the glasses off because I can still pretty much see you, but I can't see this much up close. So let's go through and we'll pick something out. I don't know that I have anything with snowflakes per se anymore. Sometimes I go with just a blue pattern. People seem to make blue synonymous with winter. Waves are probably not a good option. And yeah, we'll just see what we have here. We have some ho ho ho. Oh, okay. Here we go. This will work. Now, this paper could be snowflakes, could be retro, just could work. It has all kinds of good wintry colors. It's got your purples, your blues. So I think that's going to be an option. As we sit here and have some chits and chats, and I hope you're doing well. It's hard to believe that the end of January is creeping up. How's the beginning of 2026 treating you? Hopefully well. Hopefully you're warm. If you're somewhere where it's cold. It's pretty cold here today. And hopefully you had a wonderful weekend. Unfortunately, the team that we root for, the Bears, they didn't win, but they played a heck of a game. I'm not supposed to swear. They played a heck of a game. They had a great season. Not hating. I mean, like I said before, there's got to be a winner. There's got to be a loser. And we gave the Rams the run for their money, so that was good. Let me show you how I'll show you how I measure this out anyway while we're having some chits and chats here. And take these off again. So what I do is I line it up. You can't really see that. I line it up to the edge of the square. It's really bright. I tried to give you some good light, so I hope this is working. I just line it up, and I just mark with a pencil. It doesn't have to be perfect, okay? And then I usually cut the whole strip before I cut it into sections. It just seems to work better that way. At least that's just how I do it. I'm going to put our book off to the side. Okay, so we're going to use this cutter. And I don't know if I can link this. I got it from Santa. So I'm not exactly sure where it came from, but it's called eCraft, the 4-in-1 paper trimmer. You can see that. Focus. There we go. So if you're looking for something, and these come in all shapes and sizes. This is just nice because it holds your blades on there. And you line it up. Now there will be a line in the middle of the cutting area. And just line that right up. Like I said, just do the best you can. You want it to kind of go edge to edge, but you know, it's just not that tough. Like I say, it's okay. Close that down. We're gonna pick, and it'll slide out. These don't fall off because it can only travel as far as the end. Let me show you. It can only travel as far as the end here because there's a lip, and then it will go back into its blade holder. So just push down and I just go back and forth. They're new blades, so voila, that was quick. And then you can kind of see what size did you do. And it's an odd one, so I'm just going to eyeball that for the next one. But I'm just going to show you a little bit on here how we do. You're going to cut these, and then we'll get into our little rant that I left off on because we're full of chits and chats today. I hope everything is in focus. Like I said, I'm still new at this. I'm enjoying it. I hope you all enjoyed watching the undressing of the Christmas tree. I got some interesting comments. I love having the comments with you guys, the chits and the chats and all that good fun. Okay, we're going to slide this off. And I'm just going to show you. I'm not going to probably do the whole thing with you here. I'm just here to give you ideas and have some chits and chats. I don't want to make our videos too long and then that becomes a thing. So then what you'll do, it's going to look upside down to you. You can just put some adhesive. I recommend the double sticky. This is Elmer's. This, I believe, came from Joann's, and they don't have it anymore, but I know Michael's has this. I think Target has things like this now. Pretty much anywhere. It's just a double-sided sticky tape. And then you'll just figure out how, like, you're going to cover your numbers, or at least I do. I'm not worried about it because I'm going to write in the actual dates of what I'm doing when. This is just basically for look. Basically just, you know, something fun to do. Decorate up your book. So then you can alternate every other, or, you know, sometimes I'll just go diagonal with one kind and then diagonal the other one and then maybe one sparse one somewhere. In between, I may put a themed sticker. You know, sky's the limit. It's your creativity. I've used dried flowers. That's kind of a mess. I don't really recommend that. Unless you spray them. Now, I didn't spray them with hairspray. I thought about it. So I may try that again sometime. But this is basically like a scrapbook day planner. That's what we're going for. So yeah, like I said, you can just cut a bunch of these out. You can make the lines over and over, or sometimes what I'll do, and I haven't done it yet on this one, simply because I just got this. But sometimes I will put tape across here, like a masking tape, and say that I bring it to, you know, this specific measurement here. Well, then I'm going to put the tape there, and then when I put my paper up against it, I know not to go past it because that's what I need for my size, if that makes sense to you. Okay, so I am going to cut these up and pause this, and then when we come back, we're going to have some of that rant. Okay, so we're back. I cut out all the squares. It didn't really take very much time. So I've got all of these. You don't need a lot either because, well, I'm not doing the whole full page of just little squares. Yeah, I think I've got 6. I got 6 out of each of those strips, and they are equal all the way around. So that was pretty easy to put the tape. Just to show you, all I did was just take a piece of Scotch tape and I put the paper right up to the edge, and that's where I know how to cut. And then you just slide it across. I'm going to park it into its little area, and we're good to go. No muss, no fuss. And then all I ended up was 2 little scraps. You can use these. You can save the, turn over. You can save these and put them together because I do believe that they will fit a square. I also have a reminder box and a little notes box. I have an area up top here. You can't see. It's like a border up top. you can always, I don't know that I would do the blue on the blue, but you can put things up there. I used to use washi tape. However, my washi tape is packed, that I know for sure. And it has dried up. I have a lot of washi tape. I had an entire container full of washi tape. But don't throw it out if you have washi tape, because you can use glue stick and just lay your glue stick wherever you want the washi, roll the washi onto it, flatten it down real good. You're good to go. You can also use the double stick if you want. I think the glue stick dries it down a little bit better, but you can use that. That's my Scotch tape. We don't need that. And then I've taken the stickers that we're going to use. This would have made a nice border, but I probably used it in a different book years ago because this is rather old, but it's pretty cute. And these are 3D. If you can see, they're popped out a little bit. So let's get to the nitty gritty while I affix these down. And like I said, I kind of already know where I want them. I kind of pre-placed them before I turned you back on here. So we'll just have some chits and chats, and I will try to maintain some eye contact. Good thing to do is to set these out first, though. And because I have 6, sometimes I will do even on each side. Sometimes I don't, just because it changes it up a little bit. I may put like 4 on one, put the 2 on the other one, just for something different. I have been known, or often what I do, is I will fill the blank spaces first. Like at the end of the calendar, I got a space. At the beginning of the calendar, I have 3 spaces, but I don't want to put all 3 the same. But I will be putting all across the empty spaces, because why not? And then I think usually I try to, you don't always have to go right over the square either. You can do, I can't show you, but I will show you when it's stuck down. I have also taken a half and a half of another date just because it looked aesthetically pleasing. You do how you want to do. That's the whole point of being creative. And you can be creative with anything because you're in charge. Nobody can tell you how to do your planner. Nobody can tell you how to put your shoes on. Nobody can tell you who to like and who not to like. That's not always a popular theory, but you are in charge of you. So that being said, it's a bit of a rant, but it's a one of those little things that I've pondered, and you keep it with you for a while, and sometimes it'll build into a rant. So I thought I'd bring this up because what started as a rant had me thinking, and talking to my mom, she thought, well, maybe that would be a good topic. So thanks, Mom. We're gonna go with it. So this last Thursday, my wife and I, after grocery shopping, because that's an Olympic event sometimes, decided that she was going to cook. And when she cooks, it's Subway. She does an amazing job at it. I can't complain. It's phenomenal. And the issue that we had was not the young guy behind the counter. He may be college age, not quite sure. I think this is rolling. Don't fall. And service was great. Made our orders, and I'm a little bit particular about my order. So, no complaints. He was excellent, very professional, made both her sandwich and my salad completely perfect. So then you might be asking, well, then what's the problem? Well, the problem is when you go to pay, and everything's all card related now, which convenient. Sometimes convenience isn't always the best, though. And we were trying to figure out how to add a tip, because anybody that can make my salad correctly, or anybody that gives really good service, we like to tip. We've both been in service related jobs before, so we like to pay that back. And after trying and trying, the guy came over and he said, hey, what's going on? And this was after he had another person, because we stepped back, looked at it, and then he wanted to know how he could help. Meanwhile, a customer was just getting ready to step up to his counter. And we said, well, we can't figure out how to use the machine, the card reader, I guess they're called. And he said, okay, and he said, well, what are you trying to do? We're trying to add a tip. He goes, oh, he kind of laughed, and he goes, yeah, no, they took that ability away. Why? Why would a corporation take the ability to give somebody something to recognize them for doing good work? I'm still baffled by it. I don't understand why you can't give somebody extra now. And I never really noticed it before, but I will next time we go. And we usually go about once a week to Subway. I want to see if all the machines are like that or if it's just that location. We don't normally travel with cash on us because we just don't. And we felt bad. So, part two of that, we're in a gas station convenience store that had a Subway. And sometimes, because I got a little leery when we pulled in. But no, it was really good. Very clean place, very nice, very hospitable, excellent people working there. We figure, well, we'll go pay for something and get the change. Because, right? Nope, can't do that either. Because you can no longer get cash back from a debit card reader. I don't know when that started either. But apparently that's a thing because the lady at the gas station portion was telling us, oh, it's been like that since just recently. And we were just told that we can no longer do it. And because she thought you still could. She had to ask her manager. The manager said, nope, that's no longer a thing. So, I mean, I guess I can understand that to a degree of not getting cash back at a register. I mean, I kind of get it. Kind of. It's not really convenient, but kind of. But what I don't understand is why is it okay to not pay somebody or recognize them for good service? It's one thing when you work somewhere or you go somewhere and you can clearly see that the person is expecting that tip. We've gone to a lot of places like that, a lot of restaurants, and the service wasn't really good. But now, and this is a word of caution, check your receipts. Because some places that we've noticed, and it's sometimes just us two going out, it's not a group of 6 or 5 or whatever they quantify as a group anymore. They add a tip, 22% tip. Well, I don't mind if you gave me 22% of really good service. Was my cup full? Did I have to flag you down more than once? Shouldn't even have to flag them down once. I used to work as a waitress. There's just things, and I get when you can be overwhelmed, big section, or you're new, or what have you, and that can be taken into consideration. But to automatically add that to your bill, and there's no way to take that off because we asked. I just don't get it. Gone are the days of leaving cash on the table. That I get. I'm totally get that. Wanting to make sure that your employees get something extra, I guess I can kind of see that to an extent if they provided the service. And then you've got those that deserve to have a tip, deserve to have a little bit extra. They went the extra mile or they just simply did their job well, and you can't. I don't get that. And Subway's changed a whole lot. And this is not to bash Subway because, like I said, we go there frequently. We have a lot where we live, a lot of Subways. And we had this one that we frequented all the time, more than once a week. Because it was excellent. Back then, the prices were a lot better. They were up a little bit, but they were a lot better than they are now. And so we'd go a little bit more. But we were unpleasantly surprised one time when we went in on our typical day that we go in, and we knew all the people that worked there. We had become, somewhat friends. I mean, if you can say you become friends with people that, make your meal. And it was different. The atmosphere was different the minute we walked in. And it just felt a little bit off. Really didn't want to come off. It felt a lot different. We gotta put you down here because you are waving. It got to be our turn. My wife was ordering the same kind of sandwich. She's now getting something different, which I think is cool. And I always order the same thing because I do really super low carb and I have it down to a science of what I will and will not have. So, fine. Our turn. Great. We don't know these people. Not a problem. We're not judgy. Except when you throw attitude. And we'll throw attitude when somebody's only ordering what they've always ordered, what they've always gotten, how they've always ordered it. And, I mean, to make the story a little bit shorter, because I know this is probably my longest video, the server that I had, to say beyond rude, doesn't even quite do it justice. I'm aware that the salads I get are supposed to be comparable to a specific size sub. That's their shtick. They also make it to where salads do never qualify for a coupon. They've never made coupons for the salads. You will never get a coupon. I talked to corporate about that one years and years ago, and they just don't. They said that they're supposed to be equal to a 12-inch sub. That's what I was told by corporate. I don't know if that's changed, but that's what it was. The lady that decided to wait on me, my sandwich artist, who was, moonlighting as a salad maker that day, one was not thrilled with me asking for more of a vegetable. And when you only get lettuce, cucumber, black olives, bacon and ranch, because of chicken bacon ranch, and chicken and bacon, and I always ask, please, extra crispy bacon. Not extra bacon, just extra crispy. I like gum, but I'm not into bacon gum, and gotta chew and chew and chew on bacon that side. That's not done. That's bunny trail. That's neither here nor there. This woman, you would have thought, and I'm not trying to be mean, I'm stating this happened to me. This is she put, and I have small hands, she put probably less than what my hand would hold of salad, of lettuce in there. And then I asked for the cucumbers, and she gently placed the 5 slices of cucumber. And then I stack it, so I usually get lettuce and then black olives and lettuce and then the meat and the cheese. But I'm okay if you don't want to do it that way, even though it's supposed to be made. Okay, as long as I get what I asked for. So I asked for more cucumber because that's what I was accustomed to. And she read me the riot act. No, that's not how that works. I said, well, can I have more salad, please? At this point, that bowl is not even half full. And if you're going to pay $11.99 for a salad, you, at this point, should be having enough salad. She called her coworker, manager. I'm not really sure. I don't know these women. This was their first meeting with us. And we had just been there like the week before. And the other one, she was in charge, saying it nicely, PG channel. She was not very nice. She was not very hospitable. She was not very customer service first. Informed me that no way, shape, or form was the person doing it wrong. I didn't say wrong. It's a puny salad for that price. So it became a battle of the wits. By the end, she did put couple more cucumbers. I think I got maybe 1 or 2 more black olives and a pinch of extra lettuce. Okay. Well, I work out after dinner, so that was not going to fill me, but I'll make it work. It's not the end of the world. We looked over to our right, standing in line, and we recognized the woman standing next to my wife, which now this whole store is getting full because it's Friday. And what I cut out of the little story was that the manager, coworker, whoever came over, got rather loud, so I matched her loud. And I was just simply asking what changed, because we come there every week. We're unfamiliar with these two, but we didn't think our orders were that out of line. And she got louder and let me know the business. And lo and behold, the person standing next to us was actually one of our friends that worked there. We just hadn't seen her in a couple weeks. Well, she no longer worked there because there were some issues, I guess, with the new people. And she let them know that no, I'm within my rights to ask for extra as long as it fits in that bowl. So this wasn't a you're right, I'm wrong, kind of stick it to you thing. It's more of a I just don't understand how some companies will keep people employed that make customers not want to go back there. We have not been back there since. It's been probably almost a year and a half by now. And we won't go back in that one. There's others to choose from, and that's where we go now. And we've, said what we've had for attitude. And there are some people that have agreed with that location. That's just terrible because word of mouth travels faster. You want good advertising? Do good business. And although it's freezing today and we're staying home, we haven't forgotten. We do fully intend to go back and give that Subway guy that waited on us on Thursday last week a decent tip. And he's like, no, don't worry about it. No, because see, to me, that's what's wrong. It's wrong when people feel entitled, but it's wrong when a company makes you feel like you're not worth it. And that's where this is going. So do with that information what you will. It's just a little food for thought. This is what we've got for the planner. I'm pretty happy with it. I don't think it needs anything extra. January's just cold, snowy, and cold. So we're going to go with this for our dashboard. I'll be filling in my weekly plans. Glad you guys came along. Listen to my little rant. This is a very long video. I'm hoping I'm not having to chop it up in 2 parts, but if I do have to chop it up in 2 parts, I hope you watch both of them. And don't forget to tip your service people because they're working hard, and I'll guarantee you they're not making a lot. As somebody that worked in the food industry, they're not making a lot. So we try to pay it forward when we can. I mean, times are hard for everybody, and if you can afford to go out to eat just once a week, it should be enjoyable, right? And if you want to make somebody feel good and give them a little something for saying, hey, thank you, I just don't understand what Subway's thinking. This is not sponsored. This is not to hate on Subway either. This by no means reflects on the company itself as far as what its product is and, all of that. I just would like to be able to thank that server easier than having to come back with cash. But that's okay because we'll order again and then he'll get a bigger tip because we'll make sure we have cash. That being said, thanks for stopping by. Don't forget how amazing you are. Don't let anyone ever take your sparkle. You're more than just a face, and have a great day. See you tomorrow.